When we picture a saltwater crocodile, we imagine an invincible prehistoric titan, a 23-foot, 2,500-pound monster with a bite force capable of crushing a car. But they don't start out that way. To see the reality of their existence, we have to rewind their lives back to a humble, muddy nest hidden in the swamps of northern Australia. Out of a typical clutch of 40 to 50 hatchlings, up to 80% are eaten within the first few days of life. The environment immediately treats these tiny reptiles as a buffet. Birds, monitor lizards, and even other adult crocodiles eagerly snap them up as bite-sized snacks. Becoming an apex predator isn't a birthright. It is the mathematical anomaly of surviving a biological gauntlet where almost everything in the swamp wants to eat you. The few hatchlings that survive the nest find themselves confined to murky, densely packed wetlands. At this stage, they are entirely vulnerable. Their biology relies entirely on evasion. A grayish-green camouflage helps them disappear into the weeds, and they can hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours to outlast predators circling above. To catch their own meals without exposing themselves, they use an internal surveillance system. Super-sensitive dots covering their skin pick up microscopic water vibrations from up to 65 feet away, guiding them to insects and tiny fish in the dark. But the dry season forces a severe crisis. As the intense sunlight evaporates the sprawling swamp, these tiny juveniles are corralled into shallow, crowded pools, right alongside massive, hungry, and highly aggressive adults. The rule for these first 2 years is absolute. If you are seen in this swamp, you are eaten. By year 2, the crocodile hits about 6.5 feet in length, triggering a dangerous awkward phase. They are now too big to hide beneath small branches, but far too small to fight off a massive adult. To avoid being cannibalized, they have to pack up and abandon the freshwater swamps completely. They actively seek out barren, uncomfortable territories where food is scarce, so larger predators won't bother them. This escape relies on a unique biological tool. They possess specialized glands that filter and excrete excess salt directly out of their bloodstream. Handling extreme salinity means they can leave the rivers behind, swimming hundreds of kilometers across the open ocean to reach isolated islands. You will find them cruising through deep marine environments, exploring coastal areas where competitors simply can't survive. Being pushed out of their home by larger predators is the exact pressure that forged them into the only seafaring crocodile species on Earth. 12 years pass. At 13 feet long and weighing around 1,000 pounds, their massive appetite outgrows those barren exile zones. They have to return to the food-rich river systems. Claiming a prime stretch of river means deposing a scarred resident veteran. This requires explosive combat, thrashing tails, snapping jaws, and physical blows echoing through the water until one backs down. Winning the territory provides abundant prey, but it also attracts mates. For females, claiming this dominant space immediately forces them into the grueling physical toll of nesting. She endures an 80-day marathon of aggressive defense, violently protecting a large clutch of up to 50 eggs from a relentless barrage of monitor lizards and birds looking for an easy meal. The reward for finally securing your dominance is risking your life all over again, so your offspring can begin the exact same gauntlet. By 20 years old, the crocodile hits its absolute peak. At 20 feet long and 2,200 pounds, it stands as the undisputed king of the river system. The menu upgrades to match their size. They routinely take down feral pigs, wallabies, and massive water buffalo that make the mistake of drinking at the edge of the bank. The physics of the attack are terrifying. They strike with a 3,700-pound bite force, designed specifically to crush bones and instantly drag heavy mammals into the depths. Because these meals are so enormous, they rely on extreme fat-storing capabilities, allowing them to coast for up to 3 full months without needing to hunt again. This era is defined by total leisure. For decades, they bask in the sun and patrol their waters with 0 natural threats. But time defeats everything. Fast forward another half-century, and the crocodile enters its twilight years. At 70 years old, the biological decay is obvious. Their once sharp reflexes are dulled, their lunging speed drops significantly, and their teeth are worn down to flat nubs from decades of tearing flesh and bone. They can no longer sustain the life of an active hunter. Instead, they operate as scavengers, surviving on the abandoned scraps left behind by younger, faster competitors. And then comes the inevitable conclusion. A massive, unscarred younger male enters the territory, fully prepared to forcefully claim the river as his own. In nature, being an apex predator is never a permanent identity. It is a temporary, hard-won lease, earned through a brutal gauntlet, held for a brief window of time, and ultimately surrendered back to the swamp.